Hello. Levo viwe. Ungo kihu puti jetor bade. Deri cheginu si ke liego. Angami Catholic Krüta goe. Setsa kehu ketza unisia ketzalanu kehu keriu nu puti li pekrawa ketza suri silie. Galhori unisia ketzalanu suri zapachawa di puti li wada ketza suri humye uki dilie pu ketza suri silie. Sla sugori sisidi unisia ketza uritza. Siro ungo kepetao vor ungo dunbade mu pu puti basse puki puke sagim he puti tunu vor ungo fethade deri ukre ke samego chiri vorje zolo ketsa su nguta sla kengume jedi nyugo vor uke hu kiunu vorjile ketsa su se nyugo chesayawe ungo se dedagam hoza pete ke ze shethalidi ke tsatsale dio shidi Zalibu Kilili Putigo Kabie Uke Petau Zdio Sla Ngo Pete Keze Shetalidi Keza Ketatseleke Cruz Zasiu Amen. Hey Tigi Kaba Hepuo Zabu Masalichi Nkedi Savolichi Tigi Kem He Kizunari Mado Tselichi Tie Tevaka Hetsachi, He Migi Gedzo Tsekewa Ko Vasa Miketsatui, He Gedzori Vasa Hetsachi, Hebu Medoke Pinupi He, Hake Sho Gonanu Hikalalichi, Amen. Hey Maria, Tejan Chukibafa, Nipun Zikibafa, No Tenuko Donorokotofa, Munyo Jisum Vananu Kepari Rokotoso, Kepenyo Fenusho Kemasafa Maria. He ke puma mi kola che mo he ke she tikiri chasache amen. Cruzasiu. Ba prele. Cyril ungo hato che house deda ketulanu Jubilee candle Father Villasalbu Petu Kesa Tsasadio. Cyril Ngo Capital Architect Sir Richard Belho, Chairman Zynorique Initiative Society, who chair Kihu Tiunu Dipus Diota. Deri Puti Kaput Sakim Hoza Ngo Kihu Chiu Puti Chesadi Putinu Selemo Getala. Tua sunu mu ACYA sunu bubu puki uke jo chaya mu bubu unko ACYA mogi hale ke mezusi ke tsu se pu petsu yawe Cyril works and exhibition shidi no tuba deri tie exhibition u tsale hodam chide deri dipu pevis sege dio sus pele mu merabawe Ngo kepetau, vor ngo dono bagilie, puti umare zori, kremo zodi, ngo ACYA hru mu kredi, vor ngo kro krohis mu tahi tarho satiodi vor kilila, pupeje mu ukeni Jubilee surisedi, pupetsus yawe. Ngo kepeta architect Richard Belho. Nyogo homie pusiba dio homie pusiba morilivi. We're founder and chairman of Zynorique Initiative Society Kohima. We're a recipient of Bamboo Pioneer Award from World Bamboo Organization. Mu Nature Nomic Award from Balipara Foundation. Mu Young Designer Award from Indian Architect and Builder Magazine. Cyril, where Ungozedi, ACYA zedi ke group tsudi, ACYA Convention 2018 Cathedral Kohimanu, pe baza ke zati unuri, where vori ungo krega samego tahita rosa. Je puti jidi sebye potzadio, deri kapotzakem hodza, kebetau, ACYA zanu, hakini zasiyo bupie, se mpetsusneya. Sala non tanu share thalidi pigi letseliji. Siro tizodi puti ke pasago besedi ungo ke petao tsewadio.
Jubilee greetings to everyone, to the ACYA outgoing and incoming executives, father, sisters ko, elders, office bearers ko, Setsa Zubza village, the organization, the elders from here, and the organizing committee for this program, and all the participants. I thank you for this opportunity. The main intention why we thought we'll have an exhibition here also was I wanted to show some products, but Nagaland International Trade Expo, what I see farmer producer company go manya several hanu display selections that's all put us lanu. What is more important is I wanted to reach out to all of you. It is a divine providence that has brought all of us here. I did my schooling in Holy Cross, passed out in 1990. I went to St. Anthony's College, Shillong, and I finished my architecture in the year 1999 from Bangalore University, BMS College. I moved back to Nagaland in 2002. Before that, I was working with Chitra Vishwanath, architect, working with sustainable building materials, mainly earth architecture, and also with Arjun Nambishan. I got a chance to work on projects for Rahul Dravid, for Javagal Srinath, Sunil Joshi, top cricketers. I got to work with some of the some software technology parks, Hindustan Lever. And when I started 2002 ki start se I started an architectural firm called Zynorique. Zynorique means Zyn for design, Oric for original, QUE is for unique. So spelled backward, if you read it backward, it's unique original design. So said is Zynorique. The idea that came to me was, as an architect, what impacted me in Bangalore was hakini mi lazo moshe architect bo magadzimela kamba ko mokime mi bo pis ham hakra sele moshe vo architect bo service se mahapori pup service it's not useful to the architect to the client. But in construction industry, what I saw was the poorest of the poor works in the construction industry to help build the mansions of the rich. Children who were in the construction industry, they could not afford to go to school because they had to move from place to place. And then I had to redefine my role as an architect and how I could impact people more. During 2002, Rokosale engineer, aki puza Richard no Povasev aki akiri Nagaland no special laboratory ugo gazeti training crew conducts the mo. And corruption exists because there is no work culture among the youth. Till today, I can still say work culture still exists because there is no work, corruption still exists because there's still no work culture among the youth. And for some time, we have been very comfortable with life. We, in this, I want to, since there's a limitation of time, I want to move a little bit fast, but I want to share with you a series of things that, especially to the young, whatever we do, 2003 no train Savorje. Now I'm also, my organization, we have the Green Caravan, which deals with agri-farmers. We have Zynorique Initiative Society, which conducts training and works with bamboo. So we have Zynorique consultant that does architectural consultancy. But from 2003, I've been working with training our youths. And most of the time people ask me, what is the impact? And I saw that there was certain thing that was lacking. Every time the potential to earn, once I train someone and the moment the opportunity comes for you to earn money, then the challenges of life also again comes. The doors open for vices to come to your life. Unless you have very strong spiritual discipline, there's more chances that your life will get messed up the moment doors open for you. And a mystery go patha train they again go into a negative direction. It has always been challenging. So I've studied people, I've listened to people, I've listened to a lot of successful people also. And really successful people always say, always keep God in the center. Always keep this in mind. And in this world, we are always a good or a bad example, but still we are always, everyone is still useful in that way. There is one thing that people used to say, and initially we don't understand that. When I started my journey, like all of you, the younger ones, we used to think, what is the secret of success? Life planning, how should you make your life secure? And in Nagaland, there's only one formula: government job. Malaysia, that is security. But I've seen people who work in the government job and are not happy with the job because they are not able to give their best. They're only getting the security of salary, but they're not being able to give the best to the society because there's so much of limitations. I also got to understand that the ambition to become rich is a mentality of poverty. When we come from a very poor society, our idea of success is to build a house, to collect rent and live happily ever after. But rich society do not think like that. They do not think that the ultimate goal of success is about having money and wealth. People try to live as simple as possible. I had an American guest just recently, just before the Hornbill Festival. And she has 46 hectares of land, everything, all the machineries to run her farm, 17 horses. And I asked her, how do you people survive? And they said, see, we try to live below poverty line. We try to make sure that our expenditure is minimum. Though we have a lot of money, we try to make sure that our expenditure is minimum. So, being rich is a mindset. Dali chatsidi kusata tutu. Temo samozori chizubotsidi unia gadyoha. The more, the simpler your requirement, the richer you are. The simpler because we have started subscribing to a mentality of poverty, we started comparing ourselves with other people, and we started thinking that if we don't have this, if we don't have the latest vehicle, we are poorer than our neighbor. We started comparing ourselves. And we have to redefine ourselves as a society. There was a story when a group of Naga pastors went to America, and then when they met the donors, most of them said, I'm just a pastor, I'm just a reverend. But one guy said, I'm just a farmer. He wanted to say he was poor, but the donors gave money to all the pastors and reverend, but they didn't give any money to that farmer, because farmer in a first world country is very rich. Only in third world countries, farmers are poor. So we thought farmer means farmer. We used to write, if our parents were poor, farmer. But farmer means rich. So we have to change our mindset. The greater, as doors open for us, as door open for our society, we see that there is a poverty of spirituality. When the previous speaker said, Dulano, why are the youths not engaging with the church? Why is the attendance to the church very low? Sometimes the church is not playing the role that it needs to play, because right now we are going through very different and trying times. Things have changed. When we were going to school, one period was 45 minutes, and 30 years down the line, it's still 45 minutes. But the speed at which we process information now has changed. That time, one advertisement on TV is about 15 minutes long. Now, an advertisement is about 30 seconds. This generation, the present generation, is absorbing information so fast, but we blame them, saying that they cannot concentrate and they're too distracted. Why are they distracted? Because information is moving at a very fast-paced manner. And today, unless the church also steps in and then engage the youth, by conducting programs at such an event, bringing in different speakers who can speak to our youth, to our church. See, there was a time when, as Catholics, we started getting a complex. We started getting a kind of an inferiority complex. There is no reason why we should, at any given point of time, be in that situation. There is no reason why we should have ever been in that situation. When a contractor friend went to Jerusalem, he came back and told me, "Hare, Protestant go, Modi Catholic go ka thoda zudo ha. Church kiret ho Catholic go vele mo Protestant go vele kidzu riba mule for Jerusalem no." And that is what he honestly shared, and he's a Protestant. But he said, he came back and then, Kehu got ho Catholic zudo. Now the thing is, whenever I go to all my sites and to his uncle, he had mental delusion a bit, and he used to say, "Dude, sa, chido du kimya, chido rosary se, te rugo pengu pe khere, she pusha. So chile, she put rosary chile. Initially, I didn't think very seriously of that. But as I started my architectural practice here in Nagaland, we had to go to a lot of jungles for construction, setting up sites, or to a lot of haunted places. And all those places I went, and I prayed my rosary. And all the evil spirit, whatever hauntings was there, it used to stop. And just recently also, I'm doing a Konyak Heritage Complex in Mon. IRB Gozori, they were disturbed, and 5 of them were there, and they could not stay there. And the Mon village, they came down and did some rituals, traditional rituals to ward off the evil spirit, but they could not stop. I just went there and did my rosary, prayed in that area, and then it stopped. And the IRB, they were, afterward, when I asked them, they said they stopped disturbing them. Now the thing is, see, you have to believe that we are not just in a part of a cult or just some religious organization, but we are also following this true church. And we have to, each and every one of us have to play a bigger role. We don't have to go and prove ourselves to anyone, but in whatever we do, we have to show a good example and be the best person. We cannot start thinking like an average Naga. We have to elevate ourselves. We have to redefine our role. There is something that I always believe, and I keep telling people, if you think God exists, why do you think that there's so many unsuccessful people on this earth? Why do you think that there's so many unsuccessful people when we say that God is victorious? There's so many unsuccessful people because we have not followed the Bible properly. The Bible says, "Knock and it shall be opened. Ask and you will receive." God gives, but you have to claim it. And if you don't stand up and say, "I will take it," God will not come and hand out opportunity for you. You have to be proactive and you have to say, "I want to be the best. I want to take it. I have to claim it." Traditionally, before Christianity, we used to have our elders blessing us. But when they bless us, if you don't say, "I claim it," it never belongs to you. Even if they pray for everyone, if you don't claim it, it will never belong to you. And we have We just listen to people just like that. We never claim it. And if you don't claim it, it'll never be yours. That is why I feel a lot of people are unsuccessful in this world not because God is not a God of victory. God is a God of victory, but because people do not claim it. And we have failed to understand this. There's another thing. Today also we had that prayer, our Lord's Prayer. And God kept it very simple. Lead us not into temptation. God did not say, give us the power to fight temptation. God said, lead us not into temptation, because you have to understand, we may not have the spiritual power to fight every temptation, but we can pray that the guardian angel keep us away from temptation. We know most of the time we mess up our life because we knowingly go into temptation. A lot of people don't understand this. I believe we are the true church because we follow the Holy Trinity. We don't segregate the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And every entity has a different role. And the Holy Spirit will guide us. But we fall into temptation only because we knowingly try to see, can I go in there and fight it? And then you go in there, and then later you realize that you are not able to fight it. So, as a young person, you should be guarded all the times. And for me, the only way to fight temptation, I believe, is to keep doing good work. As much as possible, keep your life to a life of volunteerism, to a life of giving. You have to understand that people get into unnecessary stress because at one level we keep praying to God, but at the other side we don't believe in God, and we don't understand that God is the best safety net. People always try to search for security for tomorrow, when even Jesus said, let tomorrow worry for itself. We don't do our best. We never give our best today, and we keep preparing for tomorrow. We are preparing for exams for tomorrow, but today we are sitting idle. We are preparing for government job. We are preparing for competitive exam for tomorrow, but today we are just sitting idle. Today is the day that God has given us. Tomorrow will be added to you, but today is the day that has been given us. No one should find themselves idle at any given point of time. Today's generation is going to work for the next generation. Today's generation cannot work for today's generation. Today's generation has to work for the generation tomorrow. But today, we have been blind for what we should be doing. We have been destroying an environment. We have been destroying everything. We have never bothered to do anything for today that will change the path of the younger generation. We have to understand the value of time and money. We have to understand that time is God's precious resource to us. The gift of life has got nothing more than the time that God has given us. And every day it has been measured and given to us. But sometimes we spend all this, just waste it. We don't even understand the value of money. The value of money is also in spending, to be thrifty in our spending, to save things, to be able to recycle things. There is something also like what you subscribe to mentally, that you become. And if you live a grateful life, and if you are positive in your thinking, all the time positive, you'll attract positive people, you'll attract positive situation. But as a society, we have become too critical and too negative. And when you start thinking about all those problems, you'll understand that there's 50% positive things and 50% negative things. You can choose to talk about the negative things, or you can choose to talk about the positive things. So you'll become whatever you subscribe to mentally. The other thing is, people think wealth has to be accumulated, and we start this accumulation process. We start buying this thing, that thing, and we end up accumulating a lot. In the end, we realize that it has no value. No one owns a single piece of land anywhere. Nothing belongs to us. We can only make good use of it, or we can make bad use of it. But anything that we accumulate, there's a universal law, it ends up poisoning us. Even if you save too much of money, it'll end up poisoning you. You'll end up in hospital and everything will be taken away from you. But the more you spend, the more you give your time to people, the blessings will keep adding to you. We have to understand that nobody is perfect. That is why we are mortals. No village is perfect. I keep telling, when we compare people as a tribe, as a tribal, we love to criticize. That village is like this village is like that. If you think about it, you will never find a single village which is so good and so pure in heart except your own village. Your own village, our own village, though, we used to forgive everyone. We used to do this for everyone, but you will never find a single village in Nagaland which is good. And the same thing, the way we criticize people, we try to, when we meet a new person, we try to think that they're perfect, and then we start searching for the imperfection. We have to learn to work with each other's strengths, not focus on their imperfections. One thing that we, the younger generation, has to understand is, why do you think Korea and Japan are so advanced? Because if you go and live in Korea and Japan, you'll understand. Every year, everything that they've built up, all their dreams get shattered and damaged and wiped out. In one earthquake, in one natural calamity, every year, I have visited them. I have visited Japan, courtesy of the Japanese government. As a team leader, I was there for 8 days. I went and observed, and I went and saw. Because of this natural calamity, they have become vulnerable. They have become more grateful to God for their life. And every year, they've developed this resilience so strong that even if earthquake comes and hits them, it just takes about 3 days for them to be up, back, and running. They just have this very strong resilience. And in English, they call it grit, G-R-I-T. If you don't have this, you'll not survive. God forbid, if a natural calamity like Japan comes and hit us, we will not know what to do because we have become very soft these days. We have to learn to collaborate, not compete. Someone has given us a wrong idea of business. Someone has given us the idea that business is competitive. And what happened? Everywhere, everything is competitive. In between Kohima and Dimapur Road, how many petrol pumps have come up? Soon, no one will be buying petrol. All of them will be out of business. If we have run a taxi, you just have so many taxi owners, and then all of them goes out of business. We just don't know how to work with each other because we are just, from a tribal mentality, we're just come to terms with the business world, and we don't know how to work together. So we have to collaborate. We have to collaborate and work collectively. We have to create ecosystem. We have to, any of the first world countries, what they do is they create strong repository, be it farmers, be it gardeners. They learn to work together. They learn to create ecosystem where they can, if our present chief minister a few years back sent me and Uncle Ningusale and an architect Atu, 3 of us, to Bali to study the ecosystem of in Indonesia, how they were running their business. Everything was sponsored by them, and we did a study. And there, when we went to the villages, I saw only one guy cuts bamboo. He brings it and sells. He sells it to the next neighbor. The guy splits the bamboo and then makes it into fine strands, and he ties it into small bundles. The third guy buys that bamboo and then weaves it into mat. So they have this system, a very conscious system, where money circulates among each other. For us, the moment we get our salary, we'll run down to Dimapur and spend everything. This money will never circulate in the village. But if we learn how to circulate the money within our own community, then our community will be economically strong. Then we can say we control our own economic. The money of Kohima or the money of Zubza is circulating between our local people. But because we just immediately go and spend our money to a non-local guy, so the money of Kohima will be in the non-local vendors. We need to understand that today, all of you have, in spite of all the weather, the cold, you have all volunteered to move from your comfort zone to come to attend this conference, the Jubilee. Some of you, the minority would come happily. Majority were, let's just go. But this is how it starts, volunteerism. Leadership starts by volunteerism. If you don't have the leadership quality, you will not be an owner. The ownership mentality. If we inculcate the ownership mentality, we'll not have attendance problem in the church also among the youth. But because we got so used to becoming a part of the servant mentality, we got used to being a servant. Over the years, we are starting to develop that. Now, what are the traits of a servant? The trait of a servant mentality is they'll always have this victim mentality and a mentality of entitlement. Scholarship see that dependency, that entitlement or victim as minister go corrupt the society. That is a victim mentality. The minister is never corrupt. It is the public that has set that trend. If the public was honest, we would have elected a better minister than blame. It's just a victim of the situation. But we have this self-victim mentality because it's a kind of a servant mentality. The other thing is, we don't give reverence to our teachers, to our elders. We don't give importance to knowledge and wisdom. People, that information is useful only when you put it to thought. And sometimes I tell my students also, like I get a lot of interns from all over India, people who come to do architecture internship also, at the same time farming interns also. One thing I said this, I tell them, if you want to get the blessings of your teacher, always hold them in reverence first. There are certain things that you can learn by just reading anywhere, but unless the blessing of that knowledge comes, you will not be able to use that knowledge. It will only be written knowledge. Even in the Bible, in Amos, I think, it is, unless you have the blessing of God, there'll be a famine of, even if you read, there'll be a famine of God's word. If God does not allow you to understand what is written in the Bible, you will not be able to understand the wisdom Everything is there in the Bible, but unless you approach it with a very prayerful mind, with repentance, the meaning of the Bible will have no meaning. It'll just be words. So you need to respect teachers and people who can guide you. Even if you finish your education, there's so many people along the way who can teach you about life. The opportunity is changing. You can see artificial intelligence, the way it is taking over a lot of jobs. The way we can learn new information is also changing. The younger generation have to be very careful. Sometimes the mobile phone, which is a very useful equipment, can hold you to bondage. It can just be as bad as a drug addiction also. Today we know climate change, it's becoming a serious issue. Today we have intolerance in our society also, secular intolerance also, tribalisms also. We have to understand that there is depression also among our younger generation, among today's generation. We have to understand that today, for a society to be healthy, we have to understand that we need to work collectively. We cannot ignore each other. At a certain years back, a few years back, Kathoser Anu raised this issue, the story about the idiots, the tribes, and the citizens. The idiots being those people who work only for themselves, the tribes who only work for their own group of people, and the citizens working for each other. Today we have to be collective in our thinking. We have to work for each other's welfare. If I fall, then with me a lot of people will fall. If I helped you all rise, then even if I fall, you'll be able to lift us up. Actually, among most of the tribe, I think we are the weakest in helping each other. I feel like that. If it is our own people, we will help them last. We are not able to help the one who are nearest to us also. We are not able to strengthen our own people. We don't really, sometimes we are weak. If I see the other tribe, they are, as far as congregating, getting together, maybe we are top notch, but helping each other, we are not so good. So we have to understand that we are also sentinels and guardians of our own land, of our own culture, of our own heritage. Tomorrow, if a calamity comes and hit us, we will not know how we'll react as a society, how we will help each other as a society also. Today, we have to be prepared that even in education, there's so many ways we can get educated these days, formal education, informal education. We have to understand that all the time we can, by using our brain, there's so much of as career option, there's so much of opportunity, but if we are looking at a regular opportunity, then we'll be losing out, we'll be moving back. If you're just looking for IAS and all this thing, it'll not work. So one thing I find missing with the younger generation these days, and we don't understand why we are being educated. And to me, the difference between an educated person and an uneducated person, because I work with a lot of school dropouts, I do a lot of training in construction sectors. An educated person has the ability to listen and to process, and an educated person The more educated you are, the more folders you have in your brain. And you can put things to the right folders. And you can process it, and you can understand it, you can record it, later you can recall that information and put it to use. But an uneducated person have got a problem with to start first. Even if you are trying to explain something to them, they'll be thinking of something else. So only those people, sometimes if they're uneducated also, they can learn how to listen to people. Today's generation also has this challenge where they're unable to sometimes take in simple instructions and process it and get things done. We call it, in a mobile phone, if you use, it is known as an operating system, you know. Is your operating system, how's your operating system? Is it good? If the operating system is slow, it takes a long time to process information. And if the operating system is weak in your brain, then we'll say, common sense nahi tela. You know, today we find a lot of people not using their common sense, okay? And asking unnecessary questions also. I am privileged because I get an opportunity to work with our chief minister also in certain projects. And the chief minister, he only gives instruction only once. He will never repeat again. And unless you are very attentive, you might miss out what he's saying. And it will be very difficult to ask him, what was it again? Pardon? Can I ask again? No, it is very difficult. And in life, you have to be very sharp to understand and process things in one shot. In one shot, you should be able to understand. And you have to understand that the Greeks have formulated this. Later, it became this thing. It became a kind of a system. This is known as Enneagram. E-N-N-E-A-G-R-A-M. Enneagram says that there are 9 different types of people, and only 3 people can get together. That means you will end up hating 6 people. So the 3 of you will really hate 6 other people. So try to understand that it's okay to hate people and it's okay to like people, but understand the ratio. You will hate 6 people and you will like only 2 more. So the 3 of you, when you get together, you will end up hating 6 people. So when you work in an environment, please try to adjust with one another. That the other 6 will be like the worst people you have ever met in your life. They'll be like that. Huh? How can this type of people exist? It's just that they are not your type. So the other thing is, you have to learn 2 things. Respect, to earn respect and to earn trust. Respect is easy to earn. Respect is sometimes blind. If I have a lot of money, you'll all respect me because you'll not know how I earn my money and you'll just blindly respect me. But you might not trust me. You might not trust your politician also with your money, but you might respect them. Trust is very difficult to earn. Trust is very easy to lose also, but trust is very difficult to earn. But in life, we go through our life journey trying to our best to earn people's trust. People's trust is, you have to be very sincere. You have to be very honest. You have to be very hardworking. You can trust a lazy person, but because of that laziness, you might not want to do anything with them. So they have to be hardworking also. And the attitude of success is also all in. You have to give your best, put your everything all in. Because anyone who is like very calculative, they say a person who has got 2 watches, who wears 2 watches is never sure of the time. If you start thinking about too much about your future and start calculating, you'll never be successful. And I've seen a lot of people who run up and down doing too many things, planning. They are never successful. Some people, when they see my life, they think I end up doing a lot of things, but in reality, people don't know me. For me, in that sense, I'm too Catholic. I follow the guardians. And I follow my dreams. And most of the time, I'm shown things to do this, to do that when I pray. And then the task comes to me and I just execute that and finish it. That nowadays, I work with the farmers because two old ladies, they look like nuns, they came to me and told me way back in 2006, something is going to come and hit our land. And 6 months of food should be kept ready. People should be trained to farm and save for 6 months. And farms should have fresh drinking water. And that time 2006, I was never into farming or any gardening, anything. But then situation happened and God started showing me the way. And then now I'm in an environment where I'm working with farmers, 5,000 farmers, 10 districts. So we are trying to show that knowledge also, but whenever I do my work, I only plan for today. I try to give my best today. And the thing is, you also have to train yourself as a boxer, as a martial artist. A martial artist who is only training to hit people will get knocked out in one shot at the stage. But if you train yourself to get hit, allow people to hit you and understand that when you fall down, God is only training you to become strong. If you start blaming God for every time you fall down, if you think that God is trying to push you down, then you are wrong. You're missing the point. They say failure is the stepping stone to success, and I've always learned this. Every time I feel some doors have closed and some opportunities lost, I understood God has pushed me up higher. Every failure, God pushed me up one step higher. So I understood the real meaning of the word, of that phrase, failure is a stepping stone to success. So whenever you meet some roadblocks or some obstacles, don't think that God is closing your door, it's only opening. We have to make sure that we understand nobody is born with value, and whatever we make ourselves to be available to others, whatever skill we learn, if someone learns a song and sings tonight, they're learning it, that value that you are giving to others. You are not born with it, you have acquired it so that you'll be useful to others. And we have to make sure that what you think, what you speak, and how you act, your action, everything is, at the end of the day, we try to make sure that this comes together. We try to ensure that this comes together. Now I want to just share with you about Nagaland. First, understand that government job is only for running the government. Government job is not to provide employment to all the people. We are right now running on salaried economy. We have to change this to production economy for our future to be strong. We are also running on a donation economy also. Everything is donation, be it from the underground, be it the church, be it the minister, be it anything. It's still donation, salaried economy. So we have to change it. We have to make it into production economy. To make it into production economy, we also have to know that we need to have economic vitality. That is, circulation of money, maximum circulation of money among ourselves. It has to be consciously created. We need to, for me, the most important sector which we need to focus on is, which our strength lies, is agri sector. Next we have tourism, our culture, heritage, tourism and all this as one component. The environment, the resources that we have. Instead of exploiting it, we can make good use of it. We can make, by improving it also, it will help the tourism. So this is kind of our asset for us. creative skills is one area which we can dominate, be it in singing, be it in acting. We have a lot of Nagaland also can become an educational hub, an IT center. And in agri, since I work with the agri department and both the horti department as a service provider, we have a program called Mission on Organic Value Chain Development for Northeast region. This is the only program, if young entrepreneurs are here, you can get grant up to 75% grant, which you can get for an amount of 6 crores. This is the highest in the country. No program in India will give you subsidy of 75%, a grant of 75%. This is which the government of India is pushing now. And this time under Horti program, this Western Bloc under Minister Salutinho's initiative, programs will be taken up. And I encourage the younger generation, those who are interested, to also explore in these. Certain areas that I have thought, like which would be the best business idea. Like organic inputs, compost. If you go online and check, the price is very high, and we can easily make, and you can just sit at home, and then you can just have a side business and bring in a lot of money. Seeds, vegetable seeds production, just selling on Instagram also, it's a big business. At bulk, we did marketing of just broom grass. It was very profitable. Broom requires hardly any maintenance. So the thing is, in farming, sometimes people talk about mass plantation. They talk about palm oil and all this thing, but I don't encourage this type of mass production because it's more destructive to the environment, and also we will not get our price that we are looking for. So in MOVCD NER, Government of India sponsors you, pays for your organic certification for the paperwork. And if you form a farmer producer company, once you get that, 1 kilo of ginger that you sell for 20 rupees, at starting price with an organic certificate, you can sell it for 140 rupees. It is, when you are talking about 10 tons, 20 tons, it's a huge amount of profit. So unless we have organic certification, unless we have those paperwork, we'll not be able to get a good price. But if you have that paperwork, you can do it like Japan. In Japan, they grow only small quantity. A family grows only small quantity, but because they do at such premium level, the price is very high. It can fetch very good price. So we should look at premium production of good quality crops and small scale but very high quality with all the paperwork. So right now, when government is assisting, try to capture that opportunity. The other thing is, when we do business, I'm touching this subject because it may benefit some of you. The others also, if you listen to it, then it might help you in some way or the other. There's a company in Philippines called Del Monte. They do pineapple production, and they have 46,000 hectares of pineapple. And the landing cost of pineapple, per pineapple to US, they said that it's in Indian rupees, it's just about 10 rupees. Why is it so competitive? They've captured the whole world market by just with this. But what was their formula of success? What they did was, they took the crown of the pineapple and converted it into high quality fabric. They took the skin of the pineapple and converted it into cattle feed. And they were left with only the pineapple, which is like now a byproduct, and they can sell it for 10 rupees. And the world cannot compete with them because they have taken ABC. So when you rear pigs, you learn to how to compost the pig manure properly and set up a composting factory. Then you can sell your pig at a lower rate. So in that sense, it'll still be whatever you sell, you'll still be able to make profit also, and your price will always be competitive. So right now we are not able to really dominate the market, local market, because we cannot get our price to be as low as them. But people outside are doing that. The other thing is, we have seen a lot of greenhouses that is not being utilized, but these greenhouses are given to us for off-season production, and we have not been using it. And as long as we learn how to grow off-season, and it is very easy for Nagaland to grow off-season. If we grow off-season, then it'll immediately fetch good price. So we should revive all these greenhouses and then learn market intelligence. Market intelligence is about understanding which market to send to. Should we send to Jorhat market, or should we send to Guwahati, or should we send to Dimapur, or should we send to Mokokchung? If you understand that market intelligence, you will be able to send your products. I've listed out a few products, like just for your information. If it is to be slow, if you're growing anything, if it's to be slow, maybe sandalwood, agarwood and all, teak wood and all these timber, hardwood, it could be, we can still grow it. This is for harvesting at a very slow stage, but by maintaining with such a, it should be in such a cycle that it is being rotated slowly. But don't immediately jump into a gardening sequence where you start with vegetables. Vegetables should be last. Otherwise, if you move in fast into vegetable production, you'll go at a loss. For ideal, this thing, betel nut and bamboo or yongchak and all will give in regular small amount of money, but it requires less maintenance. If you are looking at fruits, I'm just giving an example, just throwing up an example. So, any of the fruit trees, or maybe even exotic fruits like dragon fruits, persimmon, kiwis. And then you can look at this thing also. If it was protection of forests, if you want to protect the forest and still grow something, it'll be black pepper and pan pata. You can still protect the forest and still inside the forest, and coffee also. You can still protect the forest and still grow within that. If you are looking at, otherwise it can be aromatic also, aromatic plants. It can be medicinal plants, or at the same time, it can be aromatic and medicinal plants. Sometimes it becomes a bit difficult to export because medicinal plant requires certain license, but it can be plants. It's huge in demand for dyeing color, for fabric dyeing. So those plants you can grow. Roots, most of the roots can be used for dyeing fabric. Then we, if you think about how government is funding for setting up piggery and all this thing, cattle, dairy farming, livestock, for fodder farming will be a big business. People who have land can just do fodder grass. You can just grow fodder grass and sell it to those people who are rearing cattle and all. It's a very good business, very low maintenance. It can be alfalfa, it can be this Sudan grass, vetiver. So there are a lot of this thing. Then we can have for the local handicraft use, we can have handicraft bamboo. In Mon side, in Tobu side, there are a lot of good bamboos which are ideal for handicraft also. So we can have cane, reed, and all these plantations. Then, if it comes to fibers for manufacturing of for production, you can have nettle or this banana. See, banana. One thing you have to understand: The wild banana, the banana which is growing in the wild all around these areas and all over Nagaland, the black banana which we don't eat. This is the most expensive fiber in the world for outdoor furnitures. This is the only fiber that can be used in outdoor furnitures, but we still have not really understood the value. So right now Philippines is the only country that's exporting this, and we have it right in our backyard, but we just discard it. Then when it comes to feed, pig feed, just say from 60 kilos, the best pig feed is the sweet potato leaves. So it can be sweet potato, tapioca, soybean, maize, rye, barley. So we can do production only for pig feeds. Anyone who sets up a pig feed factory will need to buy this. And when you start growing your own pig feed, you can, right these days, you get the mineral mixes very easily. So you don't have to buy ready-made pig feed. You can always make it easily on your own. We thought that today we'll demonstrate something, but maybe we'll show you. The team are there, but since we ran out of time, then if it's oil, but I'll share with you the video so you can make your own fermented pig feeds. Oil is groundnut, mustard, perilla. You can make your lemongrass, olive. So with oil, with spices, it's cardamom, black pepper, Sichuan pepper, sumac, there's zomhu, and nutsushi. Then if it's powder, ginger, we can have king chili powder. King chili flakes is in very high demand. King chili flake, not just king chili, but king chili flakes. Then turmeric powder also. And they used to, there's a demand for banana powder also. And even tomato powder. Then in nuts, under nuts category, we have almond, soft walnut, chestnut. Actually, when the pig is 60 kgs, from 60 to 90, the remaining 30 kgs, if you want your pigs to have a layer of meat, fat layers, people feed it with nuts. And if you Google or if you search on YouTube, there's a thing called the Iberian pigs in Spain, the most expensive pig in the world, but it's fed purely with acorn. So for nuts, if you're making juice, sugarcane, pineapple, even ginger and our small lime. So different potentials which again can be incorporated into this MOVCD NER or any of the schemes which government of India is giving. Then if we want to do dehydration, it can be tomatoes, it can be cherries, it can be figs. Figs are, even our local figs, if we dehydrate it, there's a huge demand for that. And then dates, pineapple. If it's decorative, it's just say, for example, at an event like this or a wedding, it can be flowers, it can be vines, it can be hedges. If it's for pickle, right now there's a huge demand for bird eye chili. The small chili, Mizoram used to be the top exporter, but they have lost that variant. Their bird eye chili has become big. So this time the buyers came and they found that only in Nagaland. So the wild chili is still with us. It is used for treatment of liver. Though for liver problem, it is used in that. So there's a high demand, and as it also with for pickles. So we can have tamarind, gooseberry. So if it's for wine, again kiwi, plum, you can use, set up wine. If it's vinegar, cider vinegar is very expensive and is very popular. Anyone who has got sinus problem or common cold, recurring cold, knows that cider vinegar is very good. It builds up your immunity. So even our wild apple is good enough, and apple, and even they make bamboo vinegar out of bamboo also. If it's jam and marmalade, orange, a lot of people have oranges, this thing, and most of you will end up with oranges which will be either discarded, it will become a waste. So marmalade is better than jam, so learn to make it. Then you can make plum jam also. Then in tea category, Rosella is a good, it's very high in demand now, Rosella tea, sumac tea. Then coffee, we have Arabica now as a popular this thing, but outside there is demand for Geisha coffee and bourbon coffee. So Robusta is in Vietnam. People prefer Robusta, but Arabica is more neutral, so the demand is high. If you are going for avocado, avocado has Hass avocado, which is very popular, but it's still it requires male and female. So for every 10 female, you need one male. So male is normally either type B of Hass or Ettinger. Then you can get into exotic fruit. These days is very popular. So rambutan, durian, dragon fruit also comes into that exotic category. Then we have evergreen trees. Now is big demand in landscaping. Any of these road projects, they will require this. So we do provide also. We have a small facility here in Peducha, Lalmati, that old coffee farm. Horti has given us this facility where we also conduct training. We teach you on soil management, understanding different type of compost, which is a bacterial compost, which is a fungal compost, and there is so much of unlimited potential. See, the reason why I'm focusing on this farming and all is because regardless of whichever stream you are, whether I'm an architect or you're a doctor or anyone, that by default, what is possible in our land is always farming is still a huge potential, and there's so much you can do. And in a farm, it always has to be well designed in such a way that you don't waste money on irrigation. It has to be well designed because we have the advantage of gravity. It should be designed in such a way that your management is less. Initially, it might involve a lot of work, but after some time, it'll be very easy. And then you, in one farm, it should always be integrated farming. That means you should always have some kind of animal, some kind of livestock giving you the manure for you to be able to turn it to compost, and then so that you can grow. And if you have a land, one corner should be shiitake mushroom, one corner should be some eggs, some chicken laying eggs, some pigs should be there. Then you should have different types of nursery. Some would be maybe a bougainvillea, which you are going to sell once in 5 years by. There will be some nursery for moringa. So different things. If you sell them in one farm, it will always keep generating some revenue, and you'll be able to pay the salary of people working there. By doing that, once you understand this, then you'll be able to have a sustainable farm. Right now, we only focus on one activity, and we realize that the farming activity is more expensive than the product that we are getting out. So we have to understand this. So this is something that I wanted to share with you, and there's so much we can discuss later if those of you who are interested, and I'm sure most of you have got land where you want to do something with it. I'll be able to guide you and then see how we can best utilize the land. I am against the idea of destruction to the forest. There's something universally very popular, which is known as the Satoyama principle. The Satoyama principle is always preserving the top part, the forest, so that whenever it rains, from the forest, the natural fertilizer just flows down to the field. So they never fertilize anything. They never put any fertilizer, but they just allow the upper portion, the forest, to stay as it is. So I think as God has blessed us, Nagaland, exceptionally, this is the land which is known as Vavilov region. This is one of the few land in the world which is only from Brahmaputra area to Saramati. This patch of land is the land where new species originates. We have more than 46 species of bamboo. Whereas outside Nagaland, if you go to certain state, they'll have only 4 or 5 species of bamboo. We have more than 46 species of bamboo. We have got in the wild strawberry, in the wild kiwi, in the wild. See, kiwi never is from New Zealand, okay? Please understand that kiwi was never from New Zealand. Kiwi was exported from China to New Zealand. Tea was never, tea is discovered most probably only in the Tekrajuna area, because in record they said from the foothills of Assam. And when the British came and discovered tea, they were so excited, because before that tea was only available from China. So this land is blessed, and we have to ensure that God has blessed us with so much. We have to ensure that as a good Christian, we have to also protect our land, and we have to make good use of our land, not just blind farming and trying to earn some money with it. We have to be caretaker of the land and also take care of each other. For a healthy society, the gap between the rich and poor should not exceed. The strong must always help the weak, and we should help each other grow. So here I thank you again for giving me this opportunity, and I think we must, as Catholics, we must understand that we have to be strong and confident, and we have to understand that God has given each of us very important responsibility to be good Christians. We cannot just be mediocre in our outlook or in the way we live. We just have to be a very good example. Thanks so much.
Capital, Mpejesewi, DKV, Mumhasikevi, Togo Sevor, Angami Catholic Chrisarko, Petsu, Mu, Utarho Ketsa, Zokola Mpeje, Pele Ketsa, Mu, Angami Chrisarko, Zoko Ranelidi, Kawamudi, Se, Hakivi Tseletio, Ziu, Hasi Zoko City, Che Krek Samiko, Kikim Hedi, Ukelhu Taunu, Mu Ukepele Taunuri, Kejet Dudi, Humorosho, Ketsa, Hasi Zogopie, Upeta Ketsa, Sedil Husudio Mu, Kevu Tsudio, Mu Kezedi, Nipuza Putsudiwe, Ketsa Susepele. Cyril Che Putikabie, Fesenie Tzia.
Ngon cultural program Tihonu Papopie Kepesi Solimo Ketabosidi Kepesilasia Ngon Puri Kekuya Grigajunu Kemetsa Kevorgo Heavy Heshogo Sigijashilide Mu Kevija Karguri Kesakaja Shishwade Teme Kekra Kevija Kra Chigo Somi Keseji Di Ukefubalivi Ugo Kevija Kra Kesekishigoluro People's Foundation Hego Hapurisidi Nego Tsalija Shizoshi Nego Pakivi Chigo Shigishla Nego Peziwe Jizan Ugo Peteki Keze Jita Sume Zero Jie Giniti Po Sekijashlido DJ Nebo Critifu Hitenio Tenye Nouveau Hitenio Tata Tihonu Ugo Treasure Shigavor Kepatafu Tosore Teresari Ingo Donu Vor Kebasu the Sla Kepatafu No Vor Bacha Uniwe Jizanu Haketsuyo City Mpesijina Non Pejiri Mpanu Shetalidi ACYA Kesego Zekesejor Vido Cyril ACYA Music Secretary Kizazinu Mapo City Jubilee Choir Nu Kebago Besigija Shijia Suliro Ugo Tie Tisojahunu Pato Shigo Zigilisie Zish Kebatata Teva Kecha Pato Hau Zigilisie Ugo vabo pette kezabadi tsali dojla shi di nigo pesila ge shi ya siro nigo bu work ge bi mudi nigo file re several your vike to city jubilee choir nu ge bogo pesi ge shila ya
Cyril ke hu hau tigile she market ti be Beituo mu ke ba surdi putie gi ke hu dios ke hu get tsudio ke hu hanu Krüta chish ke tuo enoli vitazono Elizabeth de ke pu Reverend Deacon Dr. Sherman Kuk OFS Professor Christian Institute for Theological Engagement Malaysia ke pucha u ke mirror ke ni revemie Pilgrims of Hope Terusoko ACYA huja ke seko TGA nyebudi kretifidi hitata tatanunu hitafakinie Koya Liro Southern ACYA Sedekecha Eno Kikozol Richard Assistant Catechist Mary Help of Christians Church Jakama Sedetali ku hitata die Keto die kepre ili vizohenyo Victoria Dikepu Reverend Deacon Dr. Sherman Kuk OFS Zaputsali Koye Tekatsali ku Krikinyedi Hitanye Suru Tekakecha Krüta Putike Seshizo
Fashion ye pejewi. Siro ungo kehu patelanu gerlede. Sla ungo pete keze shethaledi teka kachatsaledio. Cruzasiu. Wa munyo mukem saro fazando. Amen. Jisu nu kemasato. Jisu nu kemasato. Jisu nu kemasato. Maria Christa mieke kruhife. Cruzasiu. Jisu teleje.